Hey there. So I'm going to show you how to use the Google Lighthouse audits on your website. For this particular example, I'm going to be using uxer.com and I'm using the Google Chrome on a Windows PC. Whether it is Windows or Mac, it doesn't really matter. The important thing is that this is a function of the Google Chrome browser. Then as soon as you have opened your website on Google Chrome, you need to press F12 on your keyboard, and this is going to show you this little thing here, this panel where you have Elements, Console, and a lot of crazy stuff here. But you need to go to where it says Audits. Then here it will show you all the options that Google gives you to basically audit your website or the page you are at the moment. So I'm going to audit my website for desktop, so you can also have the mobile audit to see how mobile friendly your website is. And then I'm going to choose to go for, performance. Let's make it simple. I'll keep performance, best practices, and SEO. Then this is going to be simulating a regular connection similar to the one I am at the moment, so not something else. And I'm gonna run my audit. So then here you have to wait a little bit. Google is going through the page based on the settings that you choose. And then it will provide you basically with a report and a ranking. So there we go. We have performance 43, not great. So basically you have from 0 to 49, it's not particularly great, 58, 9, it's like a medium, and 9 to 100, it's great. So let's see what were the issues that were found. Performance is going to be a lot related to the speed of your website. And these metrics here are a little bit also related to how what was displayed on the screen and how long did the user have to wait to see something happening in the screen. So here it goes. So the first contentful paint, so the first one that was actually content on the page was 3.1 seconds. First meaningful paint or meaningful content would be 3.1 seconds. The speeding index is 7.5 seconds. That means more or less that's what it's taking to load the entire page. To the moment that it's actually interactive, so where all the menus are up, all the buttons are up, and everything is working, it took 8.8 seconds. That is definitely not ideal. There are different things that can be happening, and this is what Google gives you here as opportunities, basically. So a lot of this will have to do with the server response, so that means your hosting company might have a lot to do with that, and a lot of this is regarding to code in your theme on your website that is not being used, so a lot of unused stuff in the code that you need to clean up. Properly sized image is another one. So basically here means that the idea would be that all your images could be as small as possible in size. So for example, I have some big images happening here where according to Google, I could be saving 11K, 9K to make them a little bit more optimal. So ideally I should be going to image optimization tool, try to make my images as small as possible, and trying to upload them directly to the media library in WordPress, since this is a website hosted on WordPress. What else we have here? Then we have a lot of these diagnostics have to do with the way your theme or your website was programmed. So this might be very difficult for you to change. That's where a good theme or great technical support, somebody who can work with you to develop your website and make the back end of it as efficient as possible, is what is going to have an impact here to reduce all this issues, let's say, that Google is identifying here. Now we're going to go to best practices. So there are certain things that Google consider best practices, and some of them are going to be things that they consider when they rank your website on Google search. So there's not too much here. So we have users document right. So basically this is again some of the scripts that are used on your website might be causing delays. Or might be unexpected. Sometimes, and in particular this case, it has to be with this form that I have. So I have a plugin and I have a form in it that's coming from MailerLite, and something not quite right here that is basically delaying my page to load. So this could also be the cause of my delays on speed here. And obviously this is gonna increase the more plugins and tracking tools and everything that you have on your page is gonna make all that even slower. Unsafe links, so making sure that you have, for example, links that are considered by Google not safe, so you might be linking to unverified websites. And then JavaScript libraries that might be known as, so for example, here I'm using an old version of a jQuery library, and of course at this stage Google is considering this library as vulnerable. So that's again making sure that your theme is up to date, making sure that you have proper technical support to avoid these kind of things. Now, let's gonna see on SEO, which apparently we're doing really great here. So we have 91. Now, what you see here is, and what we saw in the other categories is that you had opportunities and some things that are highlighted, which are basically the issues you have to look into it. But everything else that you did great, it's kind of hidden into these past audits. You see, so there were all these audits here that you pass or that are great. So this is also to keep in mind, because if you're gonna do a change in the future, you might be losing some of these. So it's also good to have a look at this. So let's check SEO, which is the last part. And we have one issue when it talks about image elements do not have alt attributes. This is a very easy one to fix. So there seems to be some of my images here, I believe it's this one, who's not having an alt attribute. There is an easy way to fix that directly in WordPress or your CMS, whatever it is that you're using. There will be always an easy way to add an alt attribute to your images. That's basically the only issue that I have. Other things like having your title element on the page, meta descriptions, having a great using SSL certificates for HTTPS, descriptive text for your links. So that means, for example, here this whole phrase is a link instead of just one little word. So that's very important for Google. And there is other things here that are being addressed as great. So now the biggest thing with this is you won't be able to fix it all. You might need some of those plugins that Google might see as like, oh, well, this might be causing a small delay and so on. But in general, it's just to give you an idea of what you could be working on if something is not exactly great with your website. Now there seems to have an issue here. I didn't notice this before, but this performance might have been affected by other tools. So you can always redo the audits, and sometimes depending on your internet connection, these things may change. So let's try it again here. Oh, I can do it again. Yeah. Hang on. Come on. All right, so coming back here, gonna run my, okay, let's do it again, but let's do it for mobile. See how we're doing on mobile. So Now it's going to simulate the website on a mobile device and then run again through the same analysis. All right, so now performance, even worse. Gonna look at this. So again, this basically is telling you how long it's taking to load, and it gives you even an idea of what's happening during those seconds, which might not be entirely visible when you're browsing the website, but this is what is really happening basically by seconds. So it will give you some options of things that you could potentially do, or you could actually talk to whoever is helping you with the development of your website. Or sometimes it might be just a case of making sure that your theme has been updated properly. Again, we have same issues here, and then the SEO, it's obviously the same, nothing really changed there. All right, I hope this is helpful. I hope you can find some answers to some of your questions. This gives you an idea of what Google is seeing on your website, and it might give you a couple of points where you need to do some work. So let me know, reply to the email if you have any questions about this, or if you have any other thoughts about this feature. Thank you.